All right, ladies and folks. So we are now gonna go ahead and record. Let's go ahead and get everybody on mute. If you do have two, if you're logged in twice in your home, like your phone, your computer, or two things, you're gonna definitely mute the other one or lower the volume so it doesn't, the feed doesn't, it doesn't it could come into play, you know. So that's, I think that's what that feedback was from. But all right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and resume recording. We're already live streaming on our I'm sorry, not our Facebook. We're live streaming on our YouTube page. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I'm gonna go ahead and officially try to kick this baby off here today. Happy Women's History Month. I'm gonna go ahead and I got a little presentation, so I don't know. It's trying to be a little smoother, but you'll get to see here. All right. And we saw some folks coming in, popping in. I imagine that, you know, that'll happen throughout our event. But, you know, we're all here for the annual Roar. And I'm just really honored. We have such talent in the room today. And what a blessing. I gotta say, such a blessing with the Los Angeles Poet Society Network, because we're inclusive. A lot of y'all we met recently, and I was like, there's no borders to be a part of LA Poet Society, you know, just be present. We have Zoom events, so it's a real honor to have everyone here today. Thank you again. So Roar 5, celebrating the resilient feminine. It's a descendant of the women's roar and the roar against patriarchy. Our featured guests include Carmen Tafoya, Shonda Buchanan, Andrea Lee, Jen Yanez Alanis, Rosalilia M. Mendoza, Margot Perrin, Tori Alonso, Trini Rodriguez, and Estela Victoria Cordero. And we will have a small little open mic. So if anybody's joining and wants to share at the open mic, type in the chat. It's first come, first serve. Type in the chat the word roar, and I'll add you to my list. And it's just 4 minutes, so just one piece, and all genres are welcome. And this is my little lady here in the making, Luna. She wanted to say hi. My junior LA poet. But
I drank all my water.
Oh my. Okay. All right. Yeah, so if you want to be on the mic, type in roar in the chat, and I think we can accommodate maybe 5, 7 readers. So I'll go ahead and add you to the list, and the open mic will be towards the latter half of the program. Okay. So, and I just, you know, if everybody just keeps muted, and when it's your turn, you can unmute. And I definitely, after you read, you know, I'm going to say unmute, y'all snap, chat, and don't, you know, feel free to give me your socials or ways people can support you. You have links to your books, to any kind of merch, or just, you know, for tips, right? You have the Cash App, you have a Venmo, or anything like that. We definitely want to, you know, share a community, but also share love and support each other beyond this event as well. Okay. So hopefully, let me get a thumbs up. Are y'all seeing my screen? You seeing the cover slide? Okay, good. I want to make sure that's working before I keep going. And again, thank you everyone that's here and everyone that's watching on YouTube. This is Roar number 5. This is our 5th action during Women's History Month. So what a blessing. All right, so go on in there, next slide. Okay, whoop, one back. Okay, before we continue further, I just want to say Omateo, Tlaxcalmatli for being here and being in creative community with us, and for all the palabra, all the words, and all the art that is created today and shared today. Thank you. And I want to give a land acknowledgement to where I'm at here in Los Angeles, California. All of this is Turtle Island, but I want to especially acknowledge the indigenous of the land and the land where you reside. And I especially want to acknowledge the Tongva, the Chumash, the Taviam, Fernandeño and Gabrieleño, and all our relatives and indigenous that came before us. And they were all beautiful caretakers of Mother Earth so that we may also be nourished and have a home. And may we all continue that tradition of being good caretakers of our Mother Earth, of Tonantzin, and for the generations to come. So I just want to give that acknowledgement. And may all your ancestors be with you and guide you and help you along your path and be present in your life. Thank you, everyone. And Omateo, when I say Omateo, that's just, it's balance. It's, the balance of life, the energies, there's always a duality. And today we're talking about, or we're coming together celebrating the resilient feminine. And there's energies, dual energies in all of us, the masculine and the feminine, and it resides in our bodies. It can be abundantly one way or another. It could be balanced. It could be any kind of, your own balance, right? But we do have feminine energies, and that's what we're celebrating today, the resiliency of that feminine energy. So that's what we are. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, everyone. All right. Oh, yeah, there's my effects. I started using we got some video backgrounds. Okay. All right, so I just want to let you all know a little bit about this event, where it came from and why we have the name we have. And so our story, the Roar, it first, like, as I mentioned here, we're a descendant of the women's roar. And of course we do the X, just, we don't want to see the men, we give more credit to, or, we want there to be a neutrality also in women, right? So the women's roar is also a descendant of the roar against patriarchy. So where did it all start? In 2019, we started the Roar as a special feature, or I should say it's the origin. So it wasn't necessarily called the Roar as it is right now, but we began a Roar in 2019 as a special feature during Women's Month at the Soapbox Poets Open Mic that is hosted by us, the LA Poet Society, at Beyond Baroque in Venice, California. And the Soapbox is part of our history because that was our first action we ever did in community, in creative community. That was our first step. We literally put a milk crate, or a quote soapbox, on the Venice Beach boardwalk, November 2009. And we said, hey, step up, everybody, anybody that wants to join us, come up to our soapbox, share your truth. So that was the beginning. Since then, we've always had a Soapbox Poets Open Mic that's usually the second Sundays of the month. So during Women's Month, we started the Women's Roar. We're like, hey, let's make a big event, a chance for us to showcase prominent women writers and artists. So it was originally the Women's Roar. In 2020, the Women's Roar was our last physical action and physical event from the LA Poet Society. That was March 8th, 2020. I remember that. And that was our last physical action before the pandemic shut down. So that was our last hurrah. We all roared together, and it was an epic event. I remember Brianna, I see she's in here. Brianna was there. Tori Alonso was there, and a lot of other folks. And it was amazing. So we celebrated so loudly that we would never forget that event. All year we would remember the Roar. And in 2021, we took the event to Zoom and transitioned our event to be more inclusive, to be a more inclusive approach for women, female identified, femmes, and non-binary to participate and join us. So in an effort to be more inclusive, we renamed it the Roar Against Patriarchy, because that's like where we're all like, yeah, let's come together. We don't want to smash the patriarchy, right? So that's the spirit we had there. And while that encompassed the audience we aimed for, we felt in 2020 or 2022 that Roar, simply Roar, was a perfect way to acknowledge our intentions and identify our action. And here we are, Roar 5. Absolutely love it. Long live the resilient feminine. Woo-hoo. So let's just go ahead. Y'all can unmute and just say hi. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing just so we can see each other for a moment before we get the party cranked up. But hello, lovelies.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, everybody.
So good to see everyone.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's so good to see everybody too.
Really
Woo!
happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you here too, Jen. Oh, I'm so excited. Jen and Carmen, we met at AWP and I'm like, hey, sisters, join me in this roar. So I'm really honored to have you here along with Margot and Shonda, Stella, you know, everyone here, and Andrea and Trini's coming in later. So
Mom,
just awesome.
Great.
orange juice.
All right, so I'm gonna host, I guess 10 to side requests here, but we're gonna go ahead and get kicked off. So we have featured guests, so I'm gonna just kind of go pop, pow. Let me take a look to see who we have, if anyone signed up for the open. Drea, are you able to hear me now? Just want to check.
Yes.
Okay,
Can
great.
you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, let's go ahead and head back to our screen.
Mommy.
Okay. I'm sorry, I keep sharing the wrong thing here. Where's my, this should be it. My son got me, I was on my roll and then he like got me out of my train of thought and everything. Okay, so I don't want to necessarily share all this stuff. Oh my God. Okay, let's go to, there we go. Yay, we're back. All right, so now you know the origins. We had our land acknowledgement and we're gonna continue to our first guest. All right, Miss Andrea Lee. So I have a bio on all y'all's. I'm gonna, I might trim a little. We'll see how time goes. But hey, it's cred. I was like, you know what? I gave you guys 2 slides of bio if you had it. I'm like, you did the work. At least people can see it. If they want a copy, they can read more details. But it's your cred. I'm proud of y'all. It's hard work, especially for BIPOC folks and queer folks. It's like we got to be louder. We got to be visible. So. Here we go. So Andrea Lee is going to be our first reader today. Andrea Lee is a multi-talented poet, chef, and author known for her works such as The Power to Change the Way You Love Yourself and the upcoming Connections Between Us and Expressions of Love, Feelings of Love, Courage, and Betrayal, set to release in summer 2023. In addition to her adult-oriented works, Andrea is also venturing into the world of children's book writing. Her passion lies in helping others understand the positive connections they can foster with one another. Andrea's writing often explores themes of love, loss, and betrayal. Her works have been featured in various publications, including Silent Spark Press and Sims Library of Poetry. As the creator of WritingJourney101.com, Andrea has developed platforms like Poetry in Motion and co-created Verses and Vibe to engage with fellow writers and poets. She hosts a weekly poetry show on Let's Talk Radio. That's where Andrea connects with her audience every Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. She's born and raised in Los Angeles, a proud mother of 4 children, and dedicated to empowering her community. She achieves this by developing literacy programs for teens and young adults. She's an alumnus of the Community Literature Initiative in Los Angeles, where she continues to be involved as a teaching assistant. Her poetry has been showcased in various venues as Inner Healthcare Inc. and Holy Grounds Cafe, reflecting her commitment to sharing her passion for writing and fostering connections with others. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now. So please welcome Andrea Lee to the front. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me. You already said everything that everybody needs to know, so I can go into my first piece. So I wrote this piece a few days ago. So I was just in a good, loving spirit of music and everything. I had the opportunity to go sit with some young poets and hear music and poetry, and then being in the event also with Jessica at Holy Grounds Cafe and hearing her husband do poetry and play music together. So this poem inspired that from them. So this poem is titled Inception of Wavering Love. Time stood still. The beat drops. Deep down in the depths of my soul, my heart pounds, knees weak, body pulsating, to the melody, smooth jazz, symphony, saxophone, drums, flute, keyboard, harp, trombone. The songstress, she begins to serenade the crowd with the harmonic tones. We skip the blues and in tune to love. Time stood still. As music fills the air, the beat drops. The singer's sweet voice like velvet, smooth and fair. My heart pounds, knees weak, body out of control. The jazz symphony, a blend of sax and drums, flute and keyboard, each note a work of art. The trombone adds a depth that thrills and stuns, stings, a song of trust that echoes through my heart. As we sway to the rhythm, lost in the sound, the crowd fades into the night. The harmony of the music wraps us around, and we forget the world in all its plight. We skip the blues in favor of love, the feelings that fills us to the brim. As we dance together, hand in glove, our hearts sing out a joyous hymn. Time stands still, let this moment never end. Let the music play on and on, for this world of chaos and pretend, it's the harmony of love that makes us strong. And that's my piece. My second piece is titled A Poet's Story. Let the poet's story inspire you as you explore the depth of their craft and the power of spoken word in creating a sense of belonging and unity. In the heart of an ancient rim, a poet's story does unfold, a tale of passion and wisdom shared as the power of the spoken word is bared. With quivering heart and trembling hand, the poet embarks on a journey grand to thread the tapestry of life's embrace and weave a sense of belonging and grace. Through the arts of their craft, the poet's voice, a soothing draft, breathing life into tales untold. As hearts connect and spirits behold, from the highest peak to the deepest valley, a poet's words echo rally, uniting people of every color, for in their verses, the world they renew. The power of spoken word, a magic spell, a bridge of light, the profound of silence, it binds us all in love's embrace, as we find silence in our shared space. In every line, a story revealed, as the poet's heart to the world is unsealed, a mirror reflecting our joys and strife, the spoken word, a tapestry of life. Together we stand as one, we rise, for the poet's tale, a treasure lies, a reminder that we are never alone. In the power of spoken word, our unity is shown. So let us cherish the poet's art and hold their stories close to our heart. For in their words, we find our place, a sense of belonging and love's embrace. And that's my piece. So my last piece is titled Natural Woman. The natural shape of her hips that sway seductively when she moves, left, right, and right again. The bounce in her bottom when she squats or bends over to pick up her pen. the softness of her lips that speaks life into any being, a truth talker, a real queen. She takes care of home first and knows her worth, a beauty. She's a best friend. She looks like what others dream or even pay for. They all want to be like her, walk like her, talk like her. She is the standard of a natural beauty. There is nothing average about her. She is one for the history books. Never forgotten, there are many replicas of her, but she is the original natural woman. Her big personality soothes many souls. She is a place that you would always want to call home. She could cook and clean, run a business, raise children. You would want her on your team. She knows exactly what she wants. She never questions her worth. She allows others to shine in their own time, never in competition. She recognizes real and shares a space while also giving others grace. She's a woman of great discernment. She listens to understand and not necessarily to respond. Many have tried to figure her out because they don't believe that she's real without a doubt. She doesn't live in her trauma, hurt, and pain, and never tries to run game. Never take her for granted because you would never find another one quite like her, natural woman. She is the canal where life is formed, creating a nation. She is in every woman. She birthed a nation, some who ruled the world. Imagine that. She is all of that. She is the inner you. I see me. Do you see you too? And that's my piece.
Woo! All right, let's unmute. Let's show Andrea some love. Oh, such a great piece. Love.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, ladies, we're just kicking it off. Roar 5. Woo! That was Andrea Lee. I love it. That's like the anthem for all the women, like everybody. It's just, I love it. You say she birthed a nation. It's like, oh, yes, you're right. Absolutely. Without us, right? It wouldn't continue. Fantastic. Thank you, Andrea. Please do put your socials in the chat. If you have a Venmo or any way we can like give you a tip, pop that in the chat as well. Okay, let's move and to the next guest. This is fantastic. I love it. Look how beautiful she is. Oh my gosh, such a great picture too. And then you with your background, Andrea, you look amazing. Okay, so I know I saw some in the chats like, don't you have to read the whole bio? All right, I'll just skim here and there, but y'all just mad love for everything y'all do. You ladies, my folks do. I'm trying to get out of that, you guys, because All right, the next person that's reading is one of my new hermanas. Oh my God, we hit it off so much in Seattle. And, she's from San Antonio, Texas, and a fierce Chicana. Oh my goodness. And I'm just so happy. And we're in the same circles too. So it's cool that we get to be friends too. And so that is Jen Yanez Alanis. And let's see, she's a Chicana Mestiza activist, educator, and poet. She's a PhD fellow in culture, literacy, and language in the Department of Bilingual Bicultural Studies at the University of Texas, San Antonio. Her research interests include translanguaging poetics as third space. As co-founder of Welcome, a poetry declaration, she brings awareness through equity-driven cultural conversations centered on language justice, the preservation of language, and language literacy. As a member of the Corazon Collective, Jen will be touring readings and workshops beginning summer 2023. Ooh, I hope you come over to LA. I got you. I got all these places to plug you into. Her latest and forthcoming publications are included in the Journal of Latina Critical Feminism, South Dakota Review, Rogue Agent Journal, Mom Egg Review, West Trestle Review, and more. She's currently at work on an extensive critical biography of Carmen Tafoya, and her forthcoming chapbook, Surrogate Eater, is due out late 2023 by Ala Brava Press. She's a cultural activist, educator, poet. Hermana, I feel like so kin to you, sis. Check out corazoncollective.org. All right, please welcome Jen Yanez Alanis. Woo!
Hi, all. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so honored. Thank you so much. So a couple of things. I did drop my email or my website in the chat for anybody who wants to read a little bit more about me and about the chapbook. We're still taking pre-orders at this time. And I also want to say another thing. So I'm very excited because my mentor, Carmen Tafoya, is here. And just recently, yeah, I got to see sort of the final PDF version of the critical bio. And just, going over the reading and going over the poetry, the body of work that I chose to excerpt and to write critically about, just really reminded me of how much of an influence she has on my writing, especially in this poetry in Surrogate Eater. If it's one thing that I've learned with Dr. Tafoya is to honor that sense of transformation and healing and empowerment. And that's exactly what Surrogate Eater is all about. It's a space of recovering from hunger, from eating disorder, but hunger in other spaces as well, just sort of honoring the body and honoring ourselves as being sensual beings. And so a lot of the poetry in Surrogate Eater displays just that. So I'm going to start with reading a few poems from Surrogate Eater. They're short. And then I'm going to end it with one poem that I wrote for my daughter. Okay. Patron saint of moist things. I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depth and great fear of shallow living. Anais Nin. When I pray for love and moist things, I think of our youth in Anais Nin, her wet verses underneath our tongues, her sex and unduant between our bodies. In my memory, you untie the blue ribbon from around my thigh. Your mouth releases the knot. My openness gives way to taste of fig and tamarind, a glistened cadence on the tongue. I don't know you without the fragrance of chocolate daisies, misted petals below the warm sun. I long for rain's iridescence arced above our bodies, swollen with the sea of budding mermaids. Surrogate Eater. On our days out running, I pace your stride across the asphalt, your hips and thighs thin and lithe. Mine yearn to mirror your body. Yours refuses fat so naturally. The rhythm of our breaths synchronized. We gleam as glaring candles, virgencitas kept as prayers, lit on sills at our mother's windows. Now you sit so close to me. Your thigh touches mine. Your skin an offering of comfort, familiar and moist, burning between us. We lift our t-shirts and laugh at skin pull taut over muscle. I fill myself with water, meant to stave off hunger. I love your mouth open around that spoon of mounded ice cream I deny myself to eat. The sweetness of your breath invites my lips to press, my tongue to lap the taste of sugar, lingering on yours. The next poem I'm going to read, thank y'all so much, is called Sonnet for Yol Ignal as a seed, flower, and fruit, recovering from hunger. Yol Ignal, second self, born from crimson pulse. You grow beyond my body, from where I don't exist. I feel you when I crave. You savor food I cannot eat. You keep my bones guarded from despair. You hold my marrow sacred. By my mouth, you smother what destroys. You feed me as the famished, the displaced, the refugee. You nourish in me our grandmother, denied of her land, her skin, her voice, sacred stone and water. You're my inheritance when I consume the seed, the flower, and the fruit. You know my lifted arms, my palms, my knees. I eat. My throat grows a second womb. Chaos in the mouth. Delay your birth from soft folds of petals, then grow greedily. Be everything dread and beauty. Be consumed by death, by angelic bloom, by all and by nothing. Clench chaos between your teeth. Be rabid and ravenous. Eat fruit, the ripe and forbidden, the vine aged and unraveled. Be death below the leaves. Be insect devouring. Be seeds in the mouth consumed. Be fig and pomegranate. I'm not sure if I have time for the last poem. You let me know. It's okay? Okay. This poem is for my daughter Marive. Pandemic Smoke. Listening to Space Song by Beach House. Heart-blown muscle, fists below my sternum. Knotted ache holds me captive within the hours. My breathing slows. She's 21 and feeling first love breakup. Tells me she doesn't want fixing. She wants to feel it. To know it. So we get high and listen to Space Song. We talk boys among the dusty mist of pandemic smoke. She tells me about an app where loneliness brings together poets and musicians. From Australia, someone serenades her sadness. In Spain, another sketches a poem from the shape of her eyes. A distant love ascends from below a deep-carved sarcophagus, a worldliness of royalty and worship from centuries ago. To kiss her. My daughter and I touch fingers, releasing ourselves to the cosmos. She cries from a time within her skin when we were sisters. Thank y'all so much, so very much for this time and space. We appreciate it.
Oh, y'all unmute yourselves. Give some love to Jen. Oh.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh my God, I love it. Ooh, I was so blessed to be gifted some poems from Jen over when we met in Seattle, and I love my favorite one. I mean, you read them, and the one where you talk about the death below the ground with the insects devouring, and it's just so vivid. Such a fan, Jen. I'm such a fan. Thank you for being here. It's fire. Woo-hoo. All right, we got more fire coming up. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's do turn your cameras on. Let's do a quick picture. I mean, we're all here, but by the end, there might be less of us. So I just want to get us all looking gorgeous. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheese. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, we're gonna bring up our next reader, and that was I can't wait. Y'all have books coming too. This is great. And I see you guys are all leaving your info in the chat. Keep going, keep it up. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Definitely put all your links in there and how folks can send you some love and some tips and support what you're doing. Okay. So next, one of my other sisters, who I'm very I just admire so much, and we'll be reading together this weekend at a museum in Los Angeles. So that's really amazing. I'm so excited about that at the Broad. And that's Miss Shonda Buchanan. So let me bring her up here. And she's like, you don't have to read everything. Look, she has 2 pages. She has 2 amazing pages. And that's probably not even like everything that she's, everything that she's done. But let me bring her bio up here. All right. So just to show you, boom, two slides here. So I'm gonna just kind of scan a couple things here and there, but she's incredible. Shonda Buchanan, a Pushcart Prize nominee, Oxfam ambassador, USC Los Angeles Institute for the Humanities fellow, and City of Los Angeles COLA Department of Cultural Affairs Master Artist Fellow. Shonda Buchanan is the author of 5 books, including the award-winning memoir, Black Indian. She's also a faculty member in Alma College's MFA program in creative writing. She's an award winner. She's been a recipient of numerous grants and fellowships. She got the Big Read grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, humanities grants from the Virginia Foundation. She's been a consulting curator poet for the Broad Art Museum, a Sundance Institute Writing Arts Fellow, also with Penn Center Emerging Voices. Her memoir, Black Indian, won the 2020 Indie New Generation Book Award and was chosen by PBS NewsHour as one of the top 20 books to read to learn about institutional racism. She also wrote a follow-up collection of poetry titled Who's Afraid of Black Indians, and it was nominated for the Black Caucus of the American Library Association and the Library of Virginia Book Awards. She's been published in numerous zines and journals. Let's see here. She's also, I'm trying to get to the next page here, an education specialist for the U.S. Department of State. She's a consultant and grant and manuscript reviewer for the Poetry Foundation. She's been a judge of numerous poetry contests. I know she's currently the president of the board for Beyond Baroque Foundation, Literary Foundation in Venice, California. Let's see here. I know she's done a lot. She's currently, I think, teaching at Loyola Marymount, and she's wonderful. She lives and writes in LA on Tongva and Chumash land. She has a great website. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Shonda Buchanan to the mic. All right, Shonda.
Just a quick message. I'm so grateful to be here, everybody. I'm just going to go ahead and start on it. If you knew my true name, wouldn't you want to take me there? A river moon, sunshine shining, air, blood, and heat, stardust blowing, stardust. They are Naomi and Ruth, Nefertiti and Bathsheba, Hatshepsut, of the ancient tongue, biblical fruit gone askew in Eve's mouth. They are Lucy's daughters, her palsy wound line crested over on the punt and pushed sea floor, clots of Alat, her crescent moon stolen by an entire religion, crushed, cherished as sacred oil. Their backs Aramaic cloth of language and bloodstone ringing out on cobblestone, our menses of moist pubic hair, our life water always meets the sea to him. And finally, I turn away. Her womb line a cord connecting us all. How she must weep and laugh, mother of the sky, that we still live. Her shawl of knowing stretches from Mali to Maui land. Tongues tattooed, pull back the painted cave symbol pressed into our leaf. Suns sipping power from our late thighs, rewriting the symbols in their own language, but we still live. Husbands who cut their teeth on our love and leave us, while others carry us into the chemotherapy chamber, catching our loosened hair. Your pain is his pain. Your breastless chest is his breastless chest. And these are the hardest dreams to dream. 3, curious how they look at us, sons, husbands, fathers, once and again with terror and frustration, both daunted and desiring across time. 4, when he told me, you are nothing without me, I finally got up, kicking the salt away from my feet and left. We are the good witches of the Bible. Who are you? I am my mother's 6th child, 4th girl child. I am the shadows on my tongue. Thank you all, ladies. Thank you. That poem is from this book that I wrote called Equipoise, Poems from Goddess Country. And I need to give this book another life because I'm writing about essentially the antiquity of women's religions and icons. And I have everyone in here from Mary Magdalene to the Sibyls to Hatshepsut. And yeah, I need to give this book another life. I do. So this poem is called Of Amazons and Feminists. Wonder Woman was an Amazon. When I was 9, I wanted to be her. All little girls did. We watched her every week, salivating over Princess Diana's red, white, and blue swimsuit, envying her the bullet-deflecting wristbands, craving her lasso of truth, her candy apple red boots. Wonder Woman and her sister wives had their own island, an invisible jet plane, and strutted around in strips of clothing and tiaras, clutching menacing bows and arrows. You could tell by their super lifts that no one cut off a breast on Amazonia just to shoot an arrow better. I wanted to be an Amazon, to deflect bullets and the danger of my young life with my wristbands, but mine were cotton. And if I had her whip, I could maybe make one of my brothers and sisters stop wringing each other's blood out on the orange shag carpets. To tell the truth, to say we loved each other more. I wanted the power to protect my sisters, change our fragile Midwest lives, live manless, because eventually it seemed like they hurt me at the beginning and the end. An island full of women and their daughters gave me hope, charmed my fraught sensibilities. No one bought them dolls or hairpins or socks. No one pushed them down and expected them not to get up. The legend of the Amazons began with a living room, and I coveted it, nursing it secretly. Spit-filled boys in grade schools couldn't touch me. The high school freshmen laughed when I said I wanted to be a war reporter in Nicaragua, and later the men in my life who were never able to live by Amazonian rules. When I discovered real Amazons in Africa, women with thunder faces, switchblade smiles who protected the Obomi king. And in California, Queen Caliph, warrior head mistress who ruled an entire Western continent. That is vindicated. Women with swords, stealth, and self-worth were respected, not laughed, feared, not awed. Wonder Woman was no longer a TV show for perverts, but something real, a moment years later, without the red boots, the cape, the lasso that once appeared to my daughter, a night and history. So remember mythology. Thank you. So this last poem I'll read, and thank you, ladies. I want to be mindful of the beautiful, beautiful voices we have here. Hey, Trini, I see Trini popping in. So I'm just gonna sing a quick little song to introduce this next poem, which I wrote this poem for, I saw an exhibit in Virginia at a museum for weavers, and it was the Yucca women from Arizona, and I wrote the poem for them. So I'll introduce it with a song from Eulalie. They have a song. It's a song that the Eulalie sing. They're no longer a band together, but Pita Faye allowed a group of women that I was singing with in North Carolina to sing this song. So I'm just going to sing a quick push up of it to honor the women. Machitambu iambigiri, machitambu consuela abi, machitambu iambigiri, machitambu consuela ebi mapewa, hoko nihon, toho tahi, 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 gewe me itai. Nagaya ya muni what you say. Nagaya ya muni what you say. From dusk and ground, broom and corn, yucca and bare root, from earth to dawn. Every weaver starts with the sacred grandmother in her hands. Starts with a womb, starts with the medicine of a circle. Folds her children and cousins limb to bone. Mends her daughter and mother braid to scalp. Twines her husbands and sons tattoo to tongue. Pulls the navel cord of God tight, taut enough for the sky and the moon to feel safe in the basket she brings. It is the story of her people. She knows when she sells it, the yarn of her good work, the stories when you put it in your car and drive away down the dusky road. It is a thread, if pulled, will unravel the days and nights spent forging promises to a painted bullfire. The weaver always starts with a circle, starts with womb of all our grandmothers in her hands, the medicine contained within. I hope.
Beautiful. Oh, Shonda. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And can I say that Trini's on too? So for Trini, I don't know if you want to say this, but we have a women's lodge, which Jessica, you go to if anybody's interested in the women's lodge. You can inbox Trini or Jessica. And then also I am helping raise funds for the Amanda Gorman Poetry Prize for Beyond the World. So you can go to Beyond the World website, Beyond the World Literary Arts Literary Center in Venice. And if you want to contribute to the Amanda Gorman contest, you can. I'll find the link and drop it. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so
Jessica.
much,
You're
Shonda.
beautiful. Thank you, love.
We love you. We love you. And everybody unmute yourselves. Show some love.
Beautiful. I love the music.
Yes, and everyone, and also Jen, I'm sorry I forgot to ask, but put your, if you have a Venmo, Cash App, so we can get you a tip. And then Shonda has hers in the chat too, but definitely check it out. Most of y'all have a website. I'll make sure to put your links also. I'll follow up with that too. But look at us, we're growing. Hi, ladies. Hello, familia. Happy Women's History Month. What an honor. Oh my God. Just y'all incredible. And thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. See Emily Clark here. Trini's here. Hi. All right. So I'm gonna continue. We have some just some incredible whoopsie. Whoa, I'm all excited. I almost knocked over my computer. An incredible lineup, and we're continuing. Hi, Chal. I see Chal and Johnny. Hi, familia. Oh, that's so sweet. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my screen share, and then everybody's else is muted. Okay, great. I'm just beside myself. It's so incredible right now. Thank you for being here, everybody. All right, let's go back to our presentation and bring up our next featured guest. Ba, ba, ba. All right. Oh, I'm so excited and honored. Carmen Tafoya in the house. Oh my gosh. And let's see, let me make sure this presents. Oh, there we go. Of Texas Poet Laureate. Carmen Tafoya was Poet Laureate of the state of Texas, biggest state in the USA. Oh my goodness. And she's here with us. So what a blessing. I'm gonna skim, I know, but mira, she has 2 pages of creds, okay? So I'm gonna just pick and, but I can also make this presentation available to y'all afterwards as well. But she's an award-winning poet and children's author, storyteller, performance artist, motivational speaker, scholar, and university professora. She's the author of more than 30 books. Wow, that's a beautiful thing. And a professor of transformative children's literature at UT San Antonio. She holds a PhD in bilingual education from the University of Texas and a BA and MA and doctorate honoris causa in humane letters from Austin College. Tafoya has performed her one-woman show throughout the Americas, Europe, and New Zealand, and her work appears internationally in textbooks, newspapers, journals, and magazines, elementary school big books, and posters on city buses. I love this. Engraved on sidewalks and museum walls. Oh, this is fierce. She credits the community around her with her inspiration and her training, and says her works are inspired by, quote, ancestors whispering over her shoulder. Oh man, beautiful. She's a native of the West Side Barrio in San Antonio, Texas, and the teachers were not boosting her up. They were telling her, hey, you have the potential to make it all the way through high school, and that that was it. But she
high school, not through.
Oh, just to high school. Oh my goodness.
I might have made it all the way into 9th grade. Who knows?
How encouraging. And you have a doctorate, you're the doctora. So my goodness, she's part of the Chicano literary movement. Like I said, she's Poet Laureate of Texas in 2015. Just an amazing a human activist. Let's see. She's received numerous distinctions, including the prestigious America's Award presented to her at the Library of Congress in 2010. She was the first Poet Laureate of the city of San Antonio. She's the winner of, she has 5 International Latino Book Awards, 2 Tomas Rivera Book Awards, 2 ALA Notable Books, the Art of Peace Award. Amazing work. Rigoberto Gonzalez calls her, quote, the Zora Neale Hurston of the Chicano community. Oh, it's cool. I like that. And she has been recognized by the National Association for Chicanec Studies for work which, quote, gives voice to the peoples and cultures of this land. And let's see, she's the president of the Texas Institute of Letters, and she's working on a biography of the noted 1930s civil rights organizer Emma Tenayuca. So amazing, just celebration of literacy, resilience, raza, everything. What an honor. Carmen Tafoya, let's hear it. Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just so excited to be with the LA Poets Society and to be able to enjoy the company. We had some fun there at AWP, and I'm glad to continue this with other women poets. I'm really proud of Roar, of Women Roar, because we need to. There's too much of that fake little meow roaring going on by the guys, and I think we need some authentic power to roar. For so long, women have been pushed into little corners and told what we could do. And for a long while, when we were only allowed to serve food, we had to invent a way to make that food have fire and purpose, and to make it transmit all the nutrition and all the survival that it could for us and for our loved ones. So this next poem is called Feeding You. I have slipped chile under your skin, secretly wrapped in each enchilada, hot and soothing, carefully cut into bitefuls for you as a toddler, increasing in power and intensity as you grew until it could burn forever. Silently spiced into the rice, soaked into the bean caldo, smoothed into the avocado, I have slipped chile under your skin, drop by fiery drop, until it ignited the sun altar fire in your blood. I have squeezed cilantro into the breast milk, made sure you were nurtured with taste of green life and corn stalks, with the wildness of thick leaves, of untamed monte, of unscheduled growth. I have ground the earth of these Americas in my molcajete until it became a fine and piquant spice. Sprinkled it surely into each spoonful of food that would have to expand to fit your soul. Dear mijo, dear mija, dear corn, chile, cilantro, mijitas, this is your herencia. This is what is yours. This is what your mother fed you to keep you alive. And from there, I'd like to take it to something a little non-standard. People ask me what I did and how I got where I got. I said, please don't do it the way I did. Mine is the long, non-recommended route to success. This one's a weird one. Sometimes we invent genres before they exist. And if you're old enough, you get to see some of that come back around. So it's a numerical poem, a grocery list of a poem. It's actually a grocery list of mistakes. Based on roughly on the life of a friend of mine who lived it. It's called How I Got into Big Trouble and the Mistakes I Made in Increasing Order of Importance. Mistake number 1. First, I fell in love with my priest. That was enough right there. But then I made mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, I told my parents that I fell in love with my priest. My parents got very mad. Mistake number 3, I told my priest that I fell in love with my priest. He already knew, told me he was in love with me too. My parents told me it was all my fault. Mistake number 4, we tried to figure out a way to make it work. Asked the church if he could leave the priesthood to get married. Waited for permission. They didn't give it. He left anyway, and we got married by a judge. My parents quit talking to me. Mistake number 5, asked the church what we could do to have a full church wedding. They said it wasn't possible. Asked if they could at least give the marriage their blessing. They said it wasn't possible. Asked if they could give a sort of kind of half blessing. Asked every week for 8 months solid, and finally they figured out a way. But we had to promise to tell no one, and the church records were sealed in confidentiality. got our half blessing. My parents said that 19-year-old muchachas locas should never be allowed in the congregation of 30-year-old attractive single priests. I just shrugged my by then pregnant shoulders and said I didn't know any priests who weren't single. They ignored me. Mistake number 6. We kept thinking we needed to do the right thing and be married fully in the eyes of the church. The church made us fill out 1,000 forms and talk to 100 officials and make 10,000 separate vows, including that we would never tell anyone. We didn't, except for my parents. My parents started talking to me again, but probably just because their 1-year-old granddaughter was already part of the wedding party. Mistake number 7, tried to celebrate our anniversary. We had by then 3 different wedding dates and 2 children. The children were a lot less confusing than the wedding dates. One of the weddings had been so secret we couldn't even remember the date of it anymore. Oh well, happy anniversary anyway, whenever it is. My parents at least agree that he's a very good man. They've always loved their priest. It's me that they're not sure about. Mistake number 8. He tried to find a job. It's not that he didn't have talents galore. It's just that I kept asking, well, what would you like to do? And what he would like to do was be a priest. Manager of a Kmart just couldn't compare. For 3 years after I'd finished my nursing degree, he was even a house husband, did a great job, and the kids were delighted. He sewed up down jackets on the sewing machine and repaneled the den, but underneath, he knew it was a job on a mummy truck and a sure thing dead end once they graduated. Mistake number 9, they graduated. He turned to drink, lots of it, just beers and social settings to start with, but sopping drunk fog out, sprawled on the living room couch at the inn. I'd get home from work and they'd get home from college, and the smell of wine would just hit us at the front door. Just reliving the transubstantiation of Christ in communion over and over again, I guess. My parents started patting me on the back, lighting candles for me and saying, "Be strong, mija." Mistake number 10. I went to church, heard a sermon about the evils of overindulgence and the selfishness of intoxication, got tired of never being able to use my living room couch, told my parents I was getting a divorce. They put out their candles and decided to quit trying to understand me. Maybe I was just born bad. Mistake number 11. No more. Quit counting. This is my life. Come on, I'm serious. I married a patient of mine, wonderful man with a kind heart. Kind heart, but weak heart. In fact, he was waiting for a heart transplant. We didn't even try for the church. Married in the hospital where I work. He was still in the hospital bed. Signed 2 pieces of paper, just take the marriage and go. But this time, I remember my anniversary with no problem, and we celebrated every month. Mija, that man could die at any minute. You're making a big mistake. No, Mama, no more mistakes. I'm the judge, I'm the jury, I'm the church, and I'm giving me a full blessing. Our lives bring us very interesting adventures. They say nothing bad can ever happen to a writer. It's all material. It's true. This is called Spit It on the Wind, a probing conversation between the 67-year-old widow and the 70-year-old plumber. He says he doesn't mind Mexican maids. Brags how he found one to take care of his ailing widowed dad. Likes his own open-mindedness when his dad fell in love and married her. Even though my 2 brothers threw a fit, I told him, well, do you want to take care of dad? Unfortunate she got cancer later. I had to call her 2 daughters to come take her back to Mexico. Made other arrangements for dad. He can't stand cornrows on the Spurs' biggest star. Never did like Kawhi. Ugly cornrows. Why can't he just act normal? Shows me pictures of his 2 pink-cheeked sons, close crew cuts, bushy, big Duck Dynasty beards, pride spread across his face. Tells me he used to be a wild child and used to ride till I hit wisdom at 65. though I see wannabe motorcycles still gunning in his eyes. Guess he told me those stories to let me know he wouldn't mind someone Mexican taking care of him. Puts his arm around me, pleased with himself. My mind flashes cornrows and bushy big beards, bossing plantations. Too far back to know the generations. Jumps to horrified 14-year-old maid, madre de mi abuelita, screaming as el dueño rapes her. Drags in slow motion to a 13-year-old maid, my other grandma, crying, kicking, Alma dying as the youngest brother of the household tears her clothes off. Jolts to a cornrowed child, whipped for being black, pink-cheeked beard bush in her face so big it's out of control. Mighty wide of you, but no, sir, not this Mexican. I remove the arm, close the door, delete the number, spit it on the wind to his 2 sons to gun that engine fast and take him back to where he came from. There's a poem that has a lot of meaning for me. It's called Marked. And the word mija that you hear a lot, if you live anywhere where there's Spanish speaking people, everybody becomes mija and mijo. My son, my daughter. It was written to my daughter, but it was kind of written to all the mijas in the world. And it mentions turquoise because the turquoise stone is known among Native peoples to be more valuable when it's got a mark in it, not when it's pure and clean and all the same color, but when it's got a streak of ore going through it, of some metal, nickel or silver or anything that makes it unusual, because it's when we human beings also are marked that we learn our own value and become more proud of who we are. Marked. Never write with pencil, mija. It is for those who would erase. Make your mark proud and open, brave, beauty folded into its imperfection, like a piece of turquoise marked. Never write with pencil, mija. Write with ink or mud or berries grown in gardens never owned, or sometimes, if necessary, blood. Thank you.
Beautiful. I loved all of that. Terrific.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I love it. Don't write with pencil, write with ink, then write, if necessary, write with blood, oh, everything. So fierce. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody give it up, give it up. Yeah, Carmen Tafoya, former poet laureate of Tejas, state of Texas, and a poet laureate of San Antonio, here in the Casa of Los Angeles Poet Society. What an honor. Thank you so much. Yeah, and if you have a Venmo, a Cash App, a Zelle, anything like that, put the link in the chat, put the you know, your, well, yeah, the information so that we can give you a tip. Yeah, or to links to your books too, work. 30 books. I'm so impressed. I'm trying to get my second one out. It's so hard. It's like, come on, get out, get out. And so I totally admire all your work and the legacy and everything. Thank you, Carmen. Yeah. All right. How's everybody feeling? Feeling good? Awesome. I had to change my scenery because the kids are like, I want this to eat and that. I'm like, oh, so I'm in the kitchen now. But we're gonna keep the party rolling. So let's go ahead and move on to our next guest. This is incredible. Just such a big pleasure for me. I'm just so honored to be with everybody. And I love throwing a party. So here we are, roaring together. Roar 5. Woo woo. All right. So our next featured guest, I'm gonna say it's one of my sisters. I would say she's one of my mentors, someone I love and admire so much. And one of my sisters, as Shonda mentioned, we all attend the same sweat lodge, the Hummingbird Lodge, and I've learned a lot from Trini. Absolutely adore her. So what a special treat and honor to have her here tonight. Trini Rodriguez, aka Tlazoteo, is co-founder and former executive director of Tia Chucha Centro Cultural. You can check out tiachucha.org, a cultural center, bookstore in LA's San Fernando Valley that transforms community through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. A former bilingual educator, court interpreter, and newspaper editor, she writes, speaks, and strives for personal and collective healing and systemic social change. Trini facilitates women's healing sweat lodge and healing circles in Native American and Native Mexican traditions. She and husband Luis J. Rodriguez produce the Hummingbird Cricket Hour, a podcast, and you can check it out at hummingbirdcricket.libsyn.com to explore thoughts, action, and inspire needed change. So please join me in welcoming Trini Rodriguez to the Roar.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's beautiful. I love hearing the voices of women because, again, we've been quiet way too long. And so I'll just add my voice to yours. And I know I'm just really honored to be here. Thank you. The first poem I'll read is inspired by something that perhaps some of us have been through with our mothers. Sometimes we get trained by our mothers to fit a certain role that is very suffocating and containing, and that was my case. And that was true because she wouldn't allow me to dance. If I would start dancing, let's say I'm listening to the radio in the kitchen and I'm doing dishes, she would say, and I start moving, she would say, don't be dancing, you should be working. Don't, what are you doing? And it was just a really kind of crushing kind of thing. And so I wrote this just remembering that because it was difficult to grow up that way. So, and it's called I Danced. The way I dance reminds me that if my mother had her way, I wouldn't. I wouldn't move, I wouldn't swing, I wouldn't laugh, I wouldn't sing, I wouldn't cry, I wouldn't yell, I wouldn't work, I wouldn't hug, joke, or bond. But I would clean, I would mop, I would sew, I would cook, I would wash, I would scrub, I would obey, I would be silent and good and ashamed and hurt and alone and empty and controlled and so very lost. So at 13, I dared to answer the call to move against chains, not of steel, but hard just the same. I dared to dance in front of mother, in front of father, in front of brothers, sisters, compadres too. I didn't care. The music called and I answered to the tune of Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All-Stars. I sprung into action, released my hips, my shoulders, my sudden urge no longer contained by stare-downs. No, I stepped out in the middle of a patio dance floor and I shook my body in wild release. Jaws dropped, eyes shocked. There I was, a new part of me, seen, no longer hidden. I danced my rejection of control. I shook in rhythm to my time, embraced the moment, a spotlight on my soul, not holding back, not hiding, just unfolding, coming loose. 13, I danced one small step toward my becoming, toward my struggle to be free, to be me. Thank you. So, and I realize that sometimes what we get taught is what we're getting is what was handed to them. I'm sure my mother was told to be contained and be a certain way. And so I don't blame my mother now. I just know that she didn't understand that perhaps it would be better for me to unfold the way I needed to unfold as opposed to the way she was told. So anyway, blessings to my mom. And this next piece is called In My Medicine Bowl. And it's inspired by, I actually wrote it after a session at, actually there's this beautiful collective house called El Hormiguero in Pacoima, and they had this workshop where you sit above a bowl that's as if you're I don't know how to describe it. I forget. It's a ritual
Yeah.
basically, and it has the water has flowers in it and other and it's warm and it's hot, so it's like a vapor, and you're sitting above it, with your panties down, and so basically you're getting the aroma and the medicine from that bowl. And so this is what came to me after that session. It was beautiful. In my medicine bowl, beautiful flowers, offerings of love to my most intimate self, invitation to heal fully from the inside out, from the outside in. Thank you to my grandmothers that hold our hands, tell us, Mija, don't cry. I'm always with you. Let go of the unneeded fears. All those years wasted weren't. They are your lessons, like blankets to keep you warm from the inside out, from the outside in. Flute melody fills your heart, reminders of wind, of rain, of earth, of fire, of your inheritance to take care of and be from the inside out, from the outside in. Thank you. And so to me, that's just it's good to see that so many young women, especially, I'm really encouraged when I see young women standing up sooner and not waiting till much later to become and to just do what they need to do to heal and to basically reparent ourselves. So anyway, I congratulate all of us for doing that. And this last poem I'll read because it's just in honor of us being women. And I have to say, I wasn't always glad to be a woman. I always thought, males had it much better. The privilege, the kind of standing they get, and just not having to work as hard to be, seen as sacred. And so for me, being a woman, I've come to appreciate all that we are and the resilience that we have. And so I wrote this poem. It was in honor of International Women's Day. I wrote this one in 2013. I've been a woman, too long searching for ways to escape this cocoon, to spread wings wide, no longer hide my being, my heart, my life. Aching to find my way home to this body, through this voice, no more asking permission to be me, know myself, be at one with destiny. Today, International Women's Day, in honor of women born before, in thanks to women here now, I offer a prayer, a divine mandala, color of freedoms and dreams. Bless this awaited return to the roots of our sacred knowing, that while our days are numbered, our presence will be counted, in courage bared, in love shared. For when we stand, live out loud, rescue our trampled souls, we heal the spirit within, to humbly transform, to proudly say, I've been a woman. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
That was incredible. Everybody unmute yourself and share some love, some celebration. Yeah, that was very empowering. And Luna's been wanting to say hi to you for a while. I was like, it's Auntie
There she
Trini.
is. Look at her. Yeah, I love the joy that you bring. Thank you for having this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Trini. That was incredible. I love the perspective and also just that empowerment. And I've been there too, and it's unfortunate. And I know there's probably a lot of sisters and young girls too that feel like, that, oh, we're not a guy, or we're not a man or a boy, and we're not as strong, or we're not as tough, or we can't go out, after a certain time, like that inadequacy. And it makes you doubt who you are, being just born who you are. And I've felt that before. Absolutely. Thank you for that poem. Yay! Thank you so much. And please do put your links in the chat box, or if you have a Venmo, a Zelle, Cash App, anything, so we can send you a tip. That would be awesome. And just to support.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, roar number 5. Woo! I wish I could do a good lion roar, but that's what I got. Rah! I guess maybe when I'm mad, but I'm not. I'm so happy. I don't want to give that kind of roar. Yeah, a lot of love. Oh my gosh, such fierce hermanos here. Okay, I'm gonna bring up our next guest. I'm trying to multitask, mommy life here. My partner, he's practicing, so it's just me and them. I'm like, darn it. All right, just cool. We're doing it. Working. Okay, our next featured guest is Margot Perrin. Woo, Margot. All right. Oh, and I have a treat too for Margot too. Margot Perrin's book publications include Plexiglass, The Opposite of Hollywood, Only the Dead Can Kill, Stories from Jail, and How I Learned to Cook, and other writings on complex mother-daughter relationships. She's the poet of San Francisco's Public Memorial's Spiral of Gratitude and the Sonoma County Area Coordinator for California Poets in the Schools. A nominee for the Pushcart Prize, Margot has been featured in national and international media, including NPR, BBC News, BBC World Service Outlook, the Oprah Magazine, Heyday, Penn's Fighting Words, the Press Democrat, San Francisco Chronicle, Mexico's El Petit Journal, Holland's Psychologie, and on TV and radio. And I want to share her amazing book trailer for her book, Plexiglass. So I want to make sure I'm sharing my sound. Boom. And it's just a minute long, but it's a great trailer for her book. I absolutely love it. This is Margot's book. All right, it should be loading here in just a minute.
I think the sound is off.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. And it's loading. I'm doing a lot of sharing. Oh, here we go.
This is my story. This is my song.
Please show me the name inmate on a birth certificate.
The classroom glares like a radiation chamber, rectangular funnels of light ricocheting off walls of concrete and steel, between more concrete and steel, the stratosphere of this county jail. Chalkboard littered with broken psalms, gang emblems. Stories turn the classroom into a lighthouse, show how a pencil can be used as a laser beam to illuminate the scars of those thrashing about in the waters. Incarceration is being caught in shark teeth, 3 rows pointing inward, no time off for time served, no possibility of parole. Another tooth pulling each one of the men and women closer to the throat, closer to being swallowed up. Our societies disappeared.
Wow. So I love, we're going to hear Margot right now, but what a voice, so beautiful. And all the work that she does with youth and formerly incarcerated youth as well. It's such an honor to have her here today. So please welcome Margot Perrin to the Roar.
Soda like this.
Thank you, Jessica. What a treat.
Yeah, you have great book trailers, and I was like, I want to share them. I'm going to show you off, Margot.
Oh, you're such a love, Jessica. I can't put into words how much I love you.
Aww.
And what you bring to the world.
Love you too.
It's so amazing. Also, I wanted to say thank you to Shonda, because I was so lucky to be able to take a workshop with Shonda at the Cal Poets Symposium a couple of years ago, Jessica.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2021.
Okay.
I think so.
Shonda, I don't know if she's still there, but she's an amazing, as we know, writer and presence and performer and also teacher. And it's such an honor to be with all of you today. So thank you. I'm really kind of choked up here. Jessica, thank you for all this. Okay, so I'm going to read, maybe three or four short poems. Okay, so I'll start with this one. This one's called Map Maker. Most of my work is to do with trying to, have unheard voices be heard. I mean, it's such an overused expression now, so I'll have to figure out a better way of saying it, but I think you all know what I mean. So this first one is called Map Maker. Can you all hear me okay? See if I can see you. Yeah, you can hear me okay. Okay, thank you. Map Maker. All across her body are signposts. Down her torso weaves a long scar at the juncture where ribs separate and the body becomes soft and round. The scar disappears just below her navel, a train track. On her hip, a sliver the size of a tiny railroad crossing. An inch across the throat, a thin-lipped half moon. Above the left collarbone, a naked river. Two small crosses bridge the top of an arch. An inch mile marker carves a groove in the groin. Another hails its salutation at the top of the thigh. Cancer didn't form her, but carved a map on a scatter of bromeliads, floating in space above drifting desert sands. Before the disease called by the name of a man, not her father, staked its claim and snaked its invasion through the isthmus and tributaries of her lymph glands. The only roots she had known were unplanted, unpalpable on their airborne journey, unlike the first lump in her neck. At 19, infected by cancer, injected by heroin, by a white-coated nurse who pricked her skin into silence, the stitches and scars of outrageous fortune. With her father by the bedside, with unseeing eyes, pain rebelled, erupting in visions of showers, gas houses behind closed lids, the crematoria of her ancestors. Hospital, Holocaust, hallucination, hailing from Eastern Europe, the clandestine birthplace of her forebears, as yet unchartered, except in dreams. An unconscious monument to the tune of the unknown Jewish daughter on a landscape of shifting clouds. Thank you. And the next one I'm going to read, it's a series called I See You. And about 3 of them were published in LA Poet Society anthologies. This one is entitled I See You. At the corner of Guerrero and Dubose, not in the city of angels, a woman of indeterminate age, outside a city-worn Kentucky Fried Chicken, pants, jacket, woolly cap, living on the street, crusted in gray, a small suitcase knee-high, one wheel broken, rests at her feet as she stands, legs in perfect symmetry. She extends her arms high and wide in a dance of morning awakening. At the end of her long arms, hands outstretched, a pantomime of winged birds. Long, delicate fingers reaching as high as they can go, tips touching the blue sky. She stands in an ecstasy of luxury, then sits back down beside her suitcase and waits. Thank you. And this next one is also part of the series, I See You. This one is called Delivery. Burly brown uniform askew, distressed scowl shielding her face, switching to frantic as you open the front door to receive a package. Could you please put it here? You gesture to just inside the door. With a grunt, she throws it in, then races back to her truck. We think someone arrives empty as they move into our space. Cashier, bank teller, shopkeeper, librarian, barista, neighbor, teacher, mail carrier, fellow walker. You, burdened with this and that, don't see everyone else's too. Perhaps just diagnosed with cancer, lost a parent or friend, had a fight with a partner, or longs for touch. Listing grocery items not to forget later. Who knows what's in the big box carried by others, whirling about in their own space. Thank you. And then this next one is actually a prose poem, and it comes from otherwise. I don't know if you have any opinions about this, but for me, prose poems and vignettes are sometimes a big crossover. So sometimes I think vignettes, sometimes I think prose poems. So you decide. Okay. And this one is called Poetry Club, and it comes from my teaching our kids. A handful of 4th and 5th graders straggled into the school library during their lunch break, some with remnants of their school lunches resting on their lips, or sneaking in a forbidden banana or candy bar. All girls, most were regulars at the Poetry Club, created for them to get some peace from the rowdy playground. As San Francisco's usual whipping wind rattled the windows, the kids read aloud a poem I brought in about wishes, then wrote what they wished for in the quick 25 minutes we had together. One round-faced girl, Stella, no more than 10 years old, wandered around the library after the others had started their poems, examining the display copies of books scattered on top of the low bookcases. Her face had an absorbed expression as she lifted one, rearranged it on the shelf, and put it back in its original display. Completely focused on her task, she seemed oblivious to the other girls working at the kidney-shaped tables at the center of the room. When I was 10, I had walked to the public library on a desolate afternoon to get away from the violence and chaos of my family. Thinking I was performing a useful public service, I knelt on the floor and pushed books into the back edge of the shelves to make them look neater. The scowling librarian caught me and whisper yelled, "What did I think I was doing?" I flushed in humiliation as she yanked me aside to pull them noisily all out again, lonelier than ever. I stood aside, gazing ruminatively at Stella, then went off to help the others who were busy at work on their poems. After several more minutes, Stella walked over to one of the tables and took a pencil and a piece of blank paper from a pile in the middle. Near the end of class, I asked who wanted to read their poem aloud. Stella was the first to put up her hand. In a clear voice, she began with wanting to be legendary, followed that with, "I wish I wasn't me." Her next lines were that she wished to be smart and not so loving, followed by, "I wish I was loved." I wish I don't have to hide back the insecurity that I own. I wish I weren't in the shadows that hide back my truth. I wish people would know me and love me for who I am. I wish I didn't hide myself every day. I wish I didn't say things that aren't too nice. But hiding myself, she finished, doesn't help. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, everybody go ahead and unmute and show your love for Margot Karen.
Wow, very touching, Margot.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you so much.
touching.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful poetry.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She's so lyric too. I love the way you read.
Oh.
It's like just in a meditation. I don't know. And your tone is beautiful.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And it's just a pleasure. And seeing some friends and everybody and just community. I just feel so blessed right now. Thank you. And Margot, go. I think you already did, but if you want to put your links in there and any Venmo or Cash App or ways to send you a tip, that would be great. Or to support your books, that would be wonderful. All right, how's everybody feeling? Let's do an energy check. How are all my wonderful folks doing? Feeling good? Woo, woo, woo. Okay, let's go ahead and do everybody. Take your put your camera, put your cameras on. We'll take another screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so good to see everybody. And we'll put these on our Instagram, which goes to our Facebook and our website. So that's where we can see all the documentation of our beautiful event tonight. And also on YouTube. Hey, everybody on YouTube. And I want to give a special shout to Catherine Bresa, who's watching us on our YouTube, and she's our intern. She's an amazing teen poet, and just a lot of love for everything that she does to support LA Poet Society. And she is brilliant. She'll be one of the next Harvard grads. I know it. So lots of love. And thank you everybody that's supporting and watching us on YouTube. All right, we're going to keep rolling.
Mom, wait, do you remember
All right, so our next guest, our next feature is Estela Victoria Cordero, another sister. My God, I'm blessed. You know, I have so many sisters all around the world. It's so beautiful. You know, so thanks to the creator, you know, I get to make these beautiful connections with people. And it really is through our art that, you know, that connects us. We are connecting and vibing with each other's work. And also just, you know, common things that we go through. Estela Victoria Cordero is a writer, entrepreneur, and a dental hygienist. First published in Coiled Serpent, Poets Arising from the Cultural Quakes and Shifts of Los Angeles from Tia Chucha Press in 2016, an anthology edited by Los Angeles Poet Laureate Luis Rodriguez and others. She was published in the anthology Los Angeles Poets for Justice. Woo! I love that. That's a great book. That was published by Los Angeles Poet Society Press in 2020. Also published in Drylands Hombre Lobo Stories from Ponte las Pilas Press. She's also translated children's books into Spanish, including The Big Scary Virus. I remember that. Yeah, that was by Be Me Media 2020. She's currently a member of the acclaimed group from Sacramento, Escritores del Nuevo Sol. She's an alum of the Community Literature Initiative through the Sims Library of Poetry. She is a married mother of 4, was born and raised in El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, area of East Los Angeles, East Los, woo. And she's a graduate of USC. Oh my gosh. And she'll be leading workshops at the Los Angeles Public Library for beginning and intermediate writers in conjunction with the release of her book to inspire others into writing about their own histories. And her book is coming out in April 22nd. It's a big day, the big party.
Yes.
And I'll be there and lots of other gente at the Sims Library of Poetry. So please welcome Estela Victoria Cordero. Woo.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. I see some familiar friends and faces. Hi, Margot. Hi, everybody. Hi, Andrea, Rosalilia. And I'm really excited. You know, every time I join another group, I meet new people and we add on to our friends and our, you know, poet society, if you will. So I think it's really a joy. And I always tell you this, I love you, Jessica, because I feel like you were the first window that I went through that was just open to everyone and everything. You have this way of being that's just so welcoming, and you really brought me into the world of poetry. So thank you. Yes. And you deserve that and more. But anyway, my book is called Huitzilipochtli. I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a couple of years. And it's a story about how I had a loving family, my mother, and she gets sick. On her deathbed, when we had to move to Mexico, she tells us she tells me, I remember her telling me she'd be a hummingbird. And then, so that's why when I heard Trini and Luis had this hummingbird hour, I went straight to it and I listened. So Trini, if you're there, I'm not sure. I'm very interested in that. And very blessed. Yes, I was very blessed to talk to Luis about it. And he was like, wow, that's cool. Anyway, and I can understand a lot about, like, we're here for Women's Roar. I understand the part about, you know, my mom was quiet. My mom was a quiet woman. I don't think she necessarily spoke up a lot. And I think that I had learned those behaviors before, and now you can't stop me. Now I talk when I need to talk, right? So I found my voice and I'm very grateful. And I do see that more and more women are finding their voice. And that's wonderful. So this is the first, this is the opening poem for my book. It's called Love Note to the Benevolent Beast. And it's a poem about traveling to Mexico as a child. And so here we go. Love Note to the Benevolent Beast. As I look from behind the glass window extending as a horizon does, wrapped in metallic frames with a work of art, the cacti called out from under the red burning Mexican sun. As my sisters and I run to the moving, shaking classic Pullman platform, the sky turns orange as this train rounds a curve. I see men walking, wearing white pants, held up by brown, colorful belts, pulling burros into the bushy strewn landscape, huaraches trotting on rocky ground. This benevolent metallic beast was my favorite, unlike Amtrak that held us inside its tempered air ambiance. We dangerously hung our heads out on the platform window, opened our mouth wide, and smiled. Sang the Beatles out loud in Earth, Wind, and Fire as it growled and grumbled past the canyons of Chihuahua, south past the hot desert hurricanes of swirling, hovering sands, past the rain dangling in the sky in the shape of an inverted ice cream cone in the distance, past shacks devoid of people, but filled with harvests of Aztec golden maize. These were happy times of my childhood, the 60s and 70s, heading south to our familia, past the ravines and lagoons that Abuelo Julian trekked alongside Pancho Villa, where native children jumped on the train and begged us to buy chiclets and caramels stacked in neatly wrapped wooden boxes, dressed in colorful ribbon that were the colors of the sky, where I would have never imagined a bird would be in my future. A bird would guide me the same way this beast did, until it was time to go back, when the winds would shift, when school in East LA would start, when summer's heat would die like a bee after its juicy stinger flicks off. My Mexico was a connection to myself. Yet in September, the beast would finally take us back north to home and stop in Juarez, then El Paso, where we'd hop on the sterile, shiny Amtrak that passed the hills by Dodger Stadium and delivered us to Union Station by Calle Olvera. Here on this platform, I hear the tracks and the squeals of steel and couplings. I feel the warmth on my cheeks. I am in heaven, in love with my childhood. As the green dragon rumbles us deep into those deserts, deep into the mountains, this a gift from mis padres. Some of these were the happiest of childhood days, when living in two worlds was like two handfuls of masa colliding. They belonged together and meshed me into who I was to be. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. My poems tend to be a little bit on the long side, so I never studied English, so I don't even know what a prose or, longer poem is, but I kind of get it. But I hope you like that. That's the beginning poem for my book, Huitzilopochtli, which is, Huitzilopochtli is the hummingbird guide of the South for the Aztecs. And Huitzilopochtli was the hummingbird that guided the Mexicas to present-day Tenochtitlan. And when my mother said she'd be a hummingbird, I didn't really think of Huitzilopochtli. I just thought of a hummingbird. But then I started reading about the hummingbirds of the Aztecs, and I really took to this book. So, and this name of this hummingbird, which are guides. It's also the warrior god in Aztec culture. So, all right, the next poem I have it here. This poem, do we have time for a long poem, Jessica? I can't see you because I'm up on my own screen.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go for it. So this one's called The Beam, and it touches a little bit about, being a young girl and not having a voice. So here we go. The Beam. My introduction to feeling a bright, uncomfortable spotlight on me came around the same time Mama got sick. When I ran around on the beach in Santa Monica, wondering if they thought I was just a tall girl with a baby face. This continued when we left East LA in a hurry, 2,000 miles down south, when I imbibed the sounds and sights of another country, those of Mercado Central, with its food and tacos, with wandering eyes peeking from behind stalls and windows. Where the butcher stared at me, his eyes searing through me like a laser light, uncovering my flesh, cutting it open with precision. Yet I, unable to place this, drove my sight downward, left to stare at the gray, wet cement, mottled and misshapen, with discarded pieces of vegetables left for a slippery shoe. This introduction came at a time when my own petals were blooming, when roses lined homes which I passed to Colegio Elliot in 7th grade. They calling my name, bidding farewell to the child I left behind and the footsteps I took as a princess passes a crowd on a float, waving goodbye in that hot Mexican sun. It was when Mama reached her arm out on her deathbed to stroke a juicy cut beat across my cheeks in her attempt to show her little girl about growing up and beauty. The spotlight turned into men's eyes, showing up at dances, dinners, and rodeos on either side of the border when visiting Papa or just hanging out, ogling as if I was a strange alien embodiment. No words from their blank faces, their eyes wincing, their teeth showing in disgusting, devouring pleasure. These encounters occurred when I noticed hair growing on my own body, resembling long blades of grass, newly erupted, begging for morning dew to hold them, yet I wanted to ignore them away to a dark place, covered, ignoring their existence because maybe they wouldn't think I was a woman, but a child needing protection from Mama and Papa. My encounters with men came in the form of whistles as I walked to school, where I kept my sights straight, unable to tell them to fuck off. Where my curves shouted, look at me, yet it was the opposite of what I wanted. Where I thought about how Mama couldn't walk by my side anymore, she becoming glued to the wooden carcass of a couch, her body mimicking its decaying splinters, organically both becoming victims of death, arriving soon to cart them away. I knew she would have been the shield to these laser-like stares. I wasn't able to run away from these scenes in my Jordashes and Cortezes, the ones Papa sent by freight, which he brought from the sweatshops of downtown LA, wanting to make me happy. This, his way of wanting to be in Torreon, Mexico, and not working in LA, sending us money. I needed him, and I needed her. I realized I couldn't stop these beams. I was raised to not speak up, to not disrespect these salivating, cowardly, unholy, howling men. I would learn the hard way. I would look down or away, and even if I screamed at them, they would laugh at me. I would wait until I returned to LA, once Mama was gone to heaven, after the roses died, until those fruits were blown away by a hosed water, until the tacos were ingested and the hairs on my legs were shaved, until my curves and hips had settled into the respective places, like patrons at an opera finding their seats before the show begins. Relentless men do not give up. The same thing happened here. There was no escape. Time would erase it all. Time would shut them up, cloud all their lewd words, and dim their light as a coastal California fog hides the beauty of its scenes. This introduction would not pierce me anymore or be a reminder of the absence of my parents. I would glare them down like a wolf protecting their pups, making them avert their doe-eyed stares. Fuck them. Time has passed, life has happened, and they don't even try anymore. Over the years, I tired them out on the hunt. They paid me back when I silenced their unsolicited gawks with sweet shame. They had nothing on this bitch. Not anymore, and never on my kids. Life has a way of coming full circle. My healing has begun with the howls of truth. Machismo died in the strength of my lighthouse and quieted down under the blare of my foghorn. Life is beautiful like that.
Damn.
Thank you. I grew up. Thank you so much. I feel like I can't say any more poetry because that was quite long.
That was amazing, Estella. Oh my God. We're all just like writing. You gotta check out the chat. We got a lot of admirers in the room. And
Thank you so much.
yes, sis.
You know,
Spider, you're such a great storyteller.
thank you. It's not, and let's make it clear, it's not man-hating. It's let's be nice to each other there. Because you know, we love all of our human beings. If you know we're good to each other, that's it. And so that's the bottom line. But it did swing from one side to another. And you know, you just gotta be able to say no. And so I want to thank you. I don't know if I have too much, you know, more time, but that was a long one.
Yeah, I think we're probably that was amazing. You got a lot of fans. They can't wait to see
Thank you.
Put your
That's
links in the chat.
In my book, We Sleep
Yeah.
Mostly, I did put it there. So I really appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing. I'm like reading these biographies and I'm like, wow, I don't know. I just got started and I want to do all this stuff. Like, you know, Jessica, like it's hard to find time to write sometimes, but yeah, I want to thank you all. Thank you so much for your beautiful, beautiful hearts and your poetry. I'm learning from all of y'all.
Thank you. You raised the roof right now. Check the chats out. We love you. Love, love, love. Estela Cordero, Estela Victoria Cordero. Woo! And we have one more featured guest. I want to get her up to the roar. And then we have 3 folks to just share maybe one piece, if we can. Let me get back to the gallery. Hey, everyone looks gorgeous. Hi, Stella. Sorry. Here we go. There we go. Back to the gallery view. Hello, everybody. All right. Wow, incredible. This is fire. YouTube. You guys, you know, we got this documented. This is the one for the Her Street books. Woo woo. This is amazing. Getting all these sweet, amazing sisters in the same room. Just fierce sisters. Fierce. All right. So we have Rosalilia M. Mendoza coming up. Let me bring up her bio here. This is another hermana of mine. You know, that's what we do here. There's a lot of talent, and I'm blessed to get to meet a lot of talented mujeres and people, you know. Rosalilia M. Mendoza, aka Lily of the Valley, started writing at the age of 10. She began sharing Flor y Canto in her mid-20s and now writes to heal, challenge sexism and colonialism, and create a new narrative for herself as a Chicanx. Her parents migrated from Zacatecas and Michoacán, Mexico. Through her writing, she hopes to share her family and community's resilience with her 3-year-old Sunshine Chalchihuitl. So please welcome Rosalilia M. Mendoza to the roar.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. And you're also my sister. And it's just really, I'm fangirling too. So it's kind of, I'm really excited to be part of this amazing group and just hear the already powerful voices and from all over the place just come together. And thank you so much for making this happen. And when I, back in 2009 or 10, when I came back to the Valley, because I had left to graduate school, I just felt so welcomed, and meeting you, knowing you for a long time through Tia Chuchas, when you started doing the open mics there for so long, it's beautiful to see how you also have grown and blossomed and everything you're doing. So I'm really, really honored to be here and share with amazing women. And well, let's continue hearing our roar. So the first piece, I think it's one of those that I wrote back in 2010 or 11. And it was based on looking at a reflection of past relationships and also who I was when I gave myself away, and not learning that unconditional love is not giving yourself away. It's different, and there's boundaries, and sometimes there's a balance. And I was taught differently, or just seeing the women in my family, some of them, how it was just like give. And so this is entitled, and this is part of those reflections. She is not the sheep wolves hungrily seek. She is a fierce lioness, liberating herself from cages. She is not the rose men steal from gardens. Believe these thorns are sharp, ready to battle the sexist war. She is not the light at the end of the tunnel. She is the darkness that understands it's part of life to transform, live in isolation, stay in solitude. Wrapped up in a cocoon, she rebirths as a papalot. Although she fell 8 times, she has learned to rise 9. Her scraped elbows and bruised knees are testimony. She is not here to try and please or compromise. She is no longer a victim, but a warrior ready to thrive. The scars tattooed across her skin remind her of battles she's both won and lost. She used to walk with her head down. She forgot about her power, every fierce word, nothing left, not even recognizing her own shadow. Sobs suffocating her breath until she said enough, rose to the surface, took a breath of fresh air. I will live my life, she declared. Thank you. Now, the next one, it's dedicated to I have an aunt, her name is Tia Chayo Sagrario Mendoza, and she's the first woman in my family who, if she didn't like a partner, she left them. She didn't care if she didn't have a job. She didn't care if she didn't speak English. She didn't care if she didn't have a house, and somehow she managed. And a lot of family members used to talk about her because she was very fierce or very like, nope. And I think she married like 3 times. At one point, she did leave her children in Mexico to come here to the US to work and to have ends meet. So she was like the powerhouse in her family, and by speaking back or by saying, no, I'm gonna define my role as a woman. And so this is dedicated to her. It's called Fire Woman. Who taught you to blaze? Consume any sexism with your ardor. Engulf back with every attack, Fire Woman. With you by our side, we don't need to be saved by red capes, men in tights, charming knights, relics or saints. She is brava, the cowards would say. If a man punched you, you defended yourself by punching back. If they told you to be quiet, you talked back unapologetic. Your embers sizzled patriarchy as you stood standing against anyone trying to bring you or any woman down. I will not let anyone mistreat me, is the promise you made at 5 years old. Who taught you? We ignite from within. May your fire always remain lit so it can guide the next generation of guerreras, burn down the patriarchy to the ground. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she's amazing. And right now she's in her late 60s, so she's going into her 70s, and so I'm really happy to share about her because she's one of my aunts that also helped my mother cross over in the 80s, I think, or 70s. Baby, sorry, that's my little just ran out of the room. Can you okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right in 5 seconds.
We can give it up for Rosa. Yeah. Oh, she's back.
I'm back. Sorry.
That was fire. I was just like,
okay, so this next one, I feel one thing that was really hard for my mom and for myself or any women in our family was to take breaks, to leave. Like, it was weird, I think, because I was the firstborn daughter in my family. It was really hard to like, I guess the house reflected you. If it was messy, that means you were a bad person or the gender roles, right? Or you're not fulfilling your role. So now we don't think that way. And it took a while. And sometimes there is a little voice, like if I have visitors and then my house is messy, I'm just like, oh my gosh. but it's something that I'm working on and fighting. And so I thought about this poem with that. It's called Unroutine. Forget about the dirty laundry. Let the dishes pile up. Do not sweep today. Allow food to aggressively lay. Let stained mirrors talk back. Dust layer, settle on furniture. El quehacer nunca se acaba. Take a break. Pick up your wallet or purse, keys or bike, and get out of the house. Feel the breeze once again. Let the sunshine in. Emotions flow like water. Hold yourself again in communion with the birds that fly, the bees who pollinate, the people who will wait for your return. Thank you. And my last one is called Sometimes. And this is a part of the things I would like to do more of. And so it's daydreaming and that kind of good stuff. I just want to dip my feet in the ocean, get caressed and have limpias with salt water. Other times I want to conversate with the moon and the stars from the desert or high mountains away from the city. My imagination starts expanding to the time when my ancestors still spoke, the ancient tongues of the lands connected with our truth. I want to take pictures of Venus or Mars, learn the steps of the dance of the stars. I don't have a telescope to even see Saturn's rings or money to travel to my mother's lands. Not even a sign to give me a clue. Reclaim all the knowledge we once knew. So I just sit here in my living room in gratitude. Gracias Kamali for how far I have come. Despite the odds, I already know we have won. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. This was awesome, very medicinal. And I am going to share some good news. So I was part of the community-led initiative program, and that's how I remember Stella and other folks. And one of the members submitted our collective poems to the New York Poetry Festival. So we're trying to go to New York in the summertime. And we're doing a fundraiser. So if y'all want to share any funds, that would be amazing. I know it costs to travel, but we're really excited to head out. And if you could keep on the lookout for our fundraisers, I'm going to share my Instagram as well. But yeah, it's my first time to read poetry on the East Coast, and I really would love to go. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your voice and for your medicine tonight, and for your heart and your energy. Good night, everyone.
Hermana. All right, let's unmute. Give it up for Rosalilia and Mendoza.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Woo. Fire. Oh, I love that. There was a theme, the fire woman, right? Oh my God. I love that auntie too. I had an auntie like that. Y'all need an auntie like that. Someone to wake that part up, liberate the little girl and the young woman that, hey, we have power. You're in charge of it. Don't let people I love what you said, don't give it away. All right. Yes, that concludes our features. Woo, woo, woo. I'm gonna go back to gallery so we can see everybody, all the lovely ladies and folks here. Lots of love to everybody. Woo, woo. We have 3 folks at the mic, and if you I know we're over like a little bit. If you have to go, we understand, all good. But if you want to stick around, it's just going to be a boom, 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 and then we're going to close it all up. But thank you, everybody, for being a part of the Roar 5. I just want to, again, just give shout. I see Ms. Drea is still here, Rosalilia, Estella, Shonda. Thank you, Trini. Thank you, Margot, and all of our guests, Carmen and Jen, and everybody that's just been here. Thank you for being in community. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and shift to open mic, and it's Emily Clark. Emily Clark, you're up first, followed by Sharon Elliott, and then I'll share a piece, and then we'll be closing. All right, Emily, so good to see you. Another sister of mine. We got together with California Poets in the Schools also, and she's a filmmaker, screenwriter, just incredible human. So I'm really happy to see Emily here.
So good to see you. Thank you so much for this beautiful poetry. It's really needed. It is medicine, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to read one poem called Spiral Goddess, and I wrote it after the Roe v. Wade overturned. So sorry, I've got a little bit of a cough, so pardon me. Okay. All right, so there's an epigraph at the beginning. I'll just read that, okay? The eternal feminine draws us on. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Part 1. The goddess knows when the rain comes. She plants the seeds in deep mystery, where dreams weave and animals speak. Her womb is infinity. We drum and hold seance in the dark. Thunder rolls and we bow to the earth, bent like ancient trees. The rain appears thick and delicious on our skin. Our arms, like wheat, shoot to the cerulean sea, swirling in spirals above. When the goddess is silent, we study constellations to see her vision, painted light stretched across eternity. Part 2. Columbia is tethered to our altar. She wants to cry out her name, Justice, the guardian of liberty, but her mouth is frozen shut on the cold marble slab. Woman's intuition said this would happen. A virgin goddess chosen as the figurehead of our nation. Columbia, born between Virginia and Maryland, so eerily familiar to one Virgin Mary. Now the law books read, unpure, unchaste, unclean are the bearing, fertile, pregnant citizens. The goddess is starved, hung out naked, bled out in a nightmare scene, a handmaid's tale. But listen, Lysistrata may awaken soon, breed the growing thirst for her blood by kindling a hunger strike, a righteous fast. Famished men will die, bleached bones under white sheets. It is the goddess who begins the spiral, circle of a nation's life. Part 3. The hero's journey begins at her feet. The great goddess Hera took pity on Zeus as a bird and wed him, and Inanna sacrificed her own life for her lover Tammuz. Descending to the underworld, she traded all worldly goods for him. The goddess is all-consuming, her love oceanic. She is the burning sun, bearer and begetter of all things, destroyer of worlds. Her name is Isis, Ishtar, Inanna, Astarte. She offers fruit from the tree eternal. She is the bounds of space and time. She is wild, feline, a cosmic serpent. She is the ground you stand on, the spiral that swings the world.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and unmute. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Such an empowering.
Very deep.
Yeah. I was saying so empowering, and I like all the different women figures that you weave together in that piece. And it's empowering. So love it, Emily. Oh, so good to see you and hear from you.
Good to see you too.
Woo. All right. Okay. So we're gonna continue forward. Thank you for roaring with us, Emily. Woo woo. And we're gonna bring up Sharon Elliott. Sharon, thank you for being here and joining us. It's your turn to roar. Let's hear it for Sharon.
And I am really happy to be here, and I thank Brianna Munoz for inviting me. And I know you guys were just in Seattle, and that's where I was born and raised, but now I live in Albuquerque. And I also lived for 2 years in Nicaragua and 2 years in Ecuador in the 70s. And so a lot of my poetry comes from those experiences as well. This one is called Dos Aguas. Sister, I am ocean. Fire dances above the stones over which I swim. Sister, you are shivering across soft sand, coral biting your feet, drawing blood, blood that feeds the earth, bursts the fire. Children of the stones are progeny. My heart splits open for 1,000 years. I carry you against my liquid skin. We recognize each other by the way our fingers stroke seaweed hair to calm our frightened babies, by the way our hearts teach them to love. I live beside you, above you, below you, around you. My lips lay themselves in the hollow of your salty throat, feed upon your pulse. Sister, I owe you nothing. I give you everything. I open my liquid eyes to your turquoise light and call you me. Thank you.
That was incredible. I love it. I love like the turns and the twists at it. It's like, you're me, you know, or I call you me. That was great. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for joining us. And I want to thank Brianna also for linking you up with us. And now you're a part of us. It's inclusive, right? There's no borders with LA Poet Society. You know, we have all kinds of, we do Zoom workshops and open mics and special events like this. So thank you for being a part of it. Yeah, y'all want to unmute and give her some love.
Thank you, Sharon. You reminded me of Nicaragua. I went there with my husband because he's from Nicaragua.
Oh,
But-
really? Yeah,
you-
Nicaraguans are some of my favorite people on this planet.
They're
So,
very, very good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's one that there's one that I find very attractive and he does Zumba.
well, there you go.
Just gotta say. Anyway, another story. But yeah, Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember too when I was in elementary school, was it second or third grade, and we had like I love meeting people from out of town. So we had new students in our class, and there was Shivani Patel, who was from Pakistan, and I remember Augustine. I forgot his last name, but he was from Nicaragua. And you know, it's just that always takes me back to thinking about him. My first official person that I knew that was from Nicaragua, and me trying to say it. With the accent and everything too, because I didn't have an accent or anything. But thank you, and I love the connections we're all making here. And then I just want to share one piece with y'all, and you know, mad love to everybody here. And this poem, I got to learn more about myself, and I've been diving into understand my ancestry and heritage and the DNA and all that, and it's just been it's unveiled so much to me that I really appreciate and helped answer questions that I had. And you know, while I don't know everything, it did help a lot. And I want to share this poem. I'm looking for it on my phone here, but yeah, I want to share that with you all. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. And I want to thank Trini also for the journey that she initiated for me and gave me so much peace. It's so beautiful to know that I am Shoshaki. I am daughter of the moon, carried on the back of the wind. I am the magic of the stars that wrestle with the day. I am the current that hums under the earth. The song, sorry. Okay, sorry guys, my kiddo. I am the current that hums under the earth, the song that flows in the wind, the vibration that brings the colors of intention to the light of your third eye. I am the dancing limbs of the willow tree, spreading my body around, stretching and reaching into others' hands. I wrap myself around wiggling eyes, tales from the lullaby of memory, the life seen before, the life to come, the life that brings breath into being me. Though not seen, is a prayer for my body to feel as the earth impresses itself under my foot, toes into land, digging myself in with intention. The warrior jaguar shielded by eagle, the guardians of the wind and her vast song. This beginning is me, a creation that feels life with purpose, the way it is supposed to be. Omete. Thank you, loves. Thank you, everybody. Sisters. Y'all-
Unmute. Let's unmute for her.
Yay!
Yay.
Love you all. Love you all. Thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna screen. You're pretty great too. Oh, my watch just talked to me. Creepy. She says I'm pretty great too. What?
That's funny.
Yikes. Siri, quiet. Yeah. But thank you, everybody. I want to just do one more screen share. A lot of love to y'all. You can find me, well, Los Angeles Poet Society. You'll find me. Europa Wind is my my personal Instagram if you ever want to follow or keep in touch that way too. But we are already in touch. And also our website, jessicamwilson.com. Bring a teacher to your poetry to your school. You got me, you got Margot. If you're over in the NorCal area and want a poet teacher, Andrea is going to be joining us soon with Cal Poets. Emily's part of the family too, and lots of other folks. And thank you again. And I just want to share one last thing. And this is if you want to support LA Poet Society. I just want to show you what we have here. We are a small press. Right now, we're actually taking submissions for our next literary journal called Acidverse. This was volume 1, Queer Uprising, and Margot's in this book. And then Acidverse volume 2, The Earth Beneath Our Feet, right now is out, hot off the press in color. LA Poets for Justice is our anthology, social justice anthology on the theme of basically the systemic racism that we face. It was, it launched our press, honestly, when George Floyd was killed, murdered. As activists, you know, it's like being home, not being able to do anything or say anything or protest. And, you know, for the majority of us, having a press and putting a call out was, I think, the best way to capture as many voices as possible and to scream and yell, and also to see that we're not alone. Also, we have Reflesh. This is hot off the press. We're going to be launching it next month, but Reflesh is an anthology that just came out on the topic of kind of the decolonized mindset. You know, it's all about imagining, dreaming up a whole different world or society, just refleshing, dreaming the future. And we're proud to say we have our first single author book that is going to be published in May, and that's Anatomy of a Flame by Mauricio Moreno, who also goes by Soul on Fire. And we're really happy to have him, and he's been doing such incredible work, and we're getting so much support for his libro. We're very proud of him. And also I want to say, I know she didn't mention it, and I think she already dropped off the chat or off the Zoom, but we're also going to be publishing Rosalilia's book, Lily of the Valley. So that's due out for the fall. And you know, I asked her about dates about that tour. I'm like, if I can catch August to send her off with a book, I mean, that would be really amazing. But yeah, so if you're interested in any of our goodies, we have shirts, totes, we have custom hoodies. Okay, so I know this is my okay, if you want to look at my little picture, I just want to show you my hoodie. This is the LA Poet Society hoodie. It's super warm, right? It's custom because you tell me what color you want your quilt and I will make it that color. So $30 if you're interested in your own LA Poet Society hoodie. I would love to make it custom with the color you want your quilt to be. So there's that. You know, we always accept donations, all that good stuff. That was our open mic list. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let you go. I know y'all, I mean, thank you for staying with us and being here. You know, any support to LA Poet Society goes towards our guests, it goes towards publishing, and just continue to help support our community. And we have great things happening. We're on the verge of our next festival, which in April is going to be our Poetry and Jasmine Festival. And in May, we're going to be celebrating 30 years of Always Running with our second that we've been hosting, our second always running book festival, which is celebrating 30 years of the book, always running. It'll be on May 27th. More info to come, but would love for y'all to participate in some way. And thank you everybody. One last smile, and just be safe, and love y'all. Appreciate y'all, and thank you. And you can unmute if y'all want to. And I'm
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. We have to thank you for everything you do. You are great at
Yes.
getting all of us together. You are amazing. You do it all with these kids, and I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
You do it
You're
all. So,
incredible.
we love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. I love you
Thank
too.
you so
This
much,
is-
Jessica, for having me. I really appreciate it. You always exude so much love. You have so much great energy. I love being around you, and your partner is so amazing. You guys are just a perfect match. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
True.
I see Brianna there too. Hi, Brianna.
we were listening the whole time. It was beautiful reading. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
It's also, Jessica, thank you so much. I mean, I feel we're all so overwhelmed by the patriarchy. And it's just to have this reading tonight is so incredibly uplifting. I mean, there's so much shit happening that all comes from the patriarchy all the time, right? Ever since it started,
Thank
Making
you.
us fight
So
back.
uplifting.
They're making us fight back, aren't they?
Yeah. We're
Amazing.
louder. We have more power. They come on now. We got this.
It's also not acting in reaction to, but taking the initiative, which is what you've done. And all this poetry tonight. It's just beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for your beautiful words and your solidarity and being here and joining. This was a one for the ages, and I'm glad it's going to be on YouTube so we can rewatch it and share. And remember, all right, sisters.
Thank you.
All right, love to
Thank you
everybody.
so much. You're such a
Love, love.
light in this world. I love this community.
Thank you. Thank you.
And roar.
Roar! Everybody roar.
Roar.
Roar!
I just want to say to Trini, I've heard so much about you, and it's so, I couldn't believe it. You were on the same bill, and it was so amazing to meet you and hear you read and perform.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, and Luis, for everything you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jessica. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Love
Okay.
to all.
Till next time.